Hi, my name is Mel, and I wanted to say from the outset, I'm not a biologist, I'm not a virologist, I'm a cybersecurity analyst. Okay, and so if I get stuff wrong, please tell me, but this is to the best of my understanding. Okay, and I've had to do this because I've seen so much conspiracy about how COVID was, man-made or from a leak from a lab, and I'm just wanting to correct a lot of that information. So the presentation will explore the origins of COVID-19 with a focus on comprehensive scientific evidence supporting the natural emergence of SARS-CoV-2. We'll examine multiple facets from genetic data to epidemiological studies and expert consensus to provide a clear understanding of how the virus originated in nature, not from a lab, okay? And people get angry about this, and I don't know why. I mean, why do you need it to be man-made? Why do you need China have done this deliberately? Why can't it just be a natural thing? I do not understand that. So we'll cover the pandemic's impact, scientific consensus, genetic evidence, epidemiological investigations, lab safety records, analysis of lab leak theories, zoonotic transmission pathways, ongoing research, media coverage, and lessons learned. Hopefully that will help with future preparedness. Well, we can only hope, but since we're into this massive amount of science denial at the moment, I honestly don't think we've learned anything. I mean, I do not know why this has to be some sort of man-made, China did this sort of thing that's going on at the moment, and all this science denial that's going elsewhere. Why? I do not know, all right? Because I'm not like paid. This is not, I don't get paid for any of this. I don't get paid for any of the stuff I do on YouTube. I'm a student of cybersecurity, right? No one's influencing me to do this. I'm doing this to try and educate people such as it is, right? To understand the origin, we first review the pandemic's global effects, responses by governments and organisations, and the wide-ranging social and health impacts experienced worldwide. COVID-19 emerged late in 2019 and rapidly became a global pandemic, affecting millions and disrupting daily life worldwide. Understanding its timeline and spread is essential to investigate the origins of this pandemic. All right. Countries implemented public health measures, research initiatives, and vaccine development efforts. International cooperation helped slow the spread and guided scientific inquiry into the virus. Beyond the health crisis, COVID-19 caused economic disruption, mental health challenges, and societal or social changes globally, emphasising the critical importance of and understanding future outbreaks. So I have not a lot of hope for that since we're in this massive science denial. But look, this is why we need to understand science and understand how this occurred naturally, because otherwise we're very vulnerable to future pandemics. And look, this is just, I don't know how else to say this. This is something that's really important. Well, broad scientific consensus supports the natural emergence. There's no evidence at all for any lab leak or deliberate man-made cause of COVID-19 whatsoever. Okay, and this is their studies, expert opinions, that look at how the virus originated and its characteristics, okay? Organisations such as WHO, or the World Health Organization, and no, they're not all corrupt, and the CDC, which is an American thing, although they're corrupt now because Trump and Robert Kennedy Jr. have absolutely stuffed up America's scientific organisations and anything to do with any of this. So look, but other countries, virus control people, other than America, I would look at their stuff, not what the CDC, because CDC was reliable relatively, but now that America, Trump and everything has been stuffing around with all and removing funding and kicking anybody out that's not playing the line of what they want to play, like, is dangerous. So this is more research needs to happen into all these diseases, because like we can cure a lot of them. There's often a cure for many conditions that we could do with scientific research. And all this research dismisses lab engineered explanations based on the current data. Virologists and epidemiologists worldwide have published consensus papers highlighting genetic and epidemiological evidence that supports the zoonotic origin for SARS-CoV-2. And look, and all of this, they're not playing any party line. Science always has peer reviewed, and the peer reviews pick through. They have to be able to replicate or show how they got there. They're not all just going along because that's the party line. They're doing it because that is where the evidence, and each different country have come to their own conclusions that supports that it was a zoonotic origin, not man-made and not a lab leak, okay? And they're not all doing it just to, play any party line. That's ridiculous. It's silly. Studies examining genetic sequences, viral evolution, and host interactions reinforce that virus emerged naturally through animal to human transmission rather than any laboratory manipulation or lab leak or man-made anything, all right? So that's where all the evidence shows zoonotic origin, not any land leak or anything else. Genetic analysis reveal close similarity between SARS-CoV-2 and bat coronaviruses, with no markers, none, indicating genetic engineering strengthening the natural origin theory. That's what I'm saying. All the evidence points to natural origin. SARS-CoV-2 shares significant genomic identity with viruses found in bats, particularly the RATG13, indicating natural reservoir and evolutionary lineage consistent with natural spillover. And all of this stuff, like, you can look at any biologist, he will explain all of this better. This is just so what that's meaning is saying there's particular genes that are showing and particular DNA sequences that share with other stuff found in bats. And so a natural reservoir is sort of like what's found in the natural population, if that makes sense. And spillover means that, like, it's gone to other species, sort of thing, and mutated, because viruses mutate. Evolution is a thing. Who knew?